Hi guys, Josh here, welcome to FramesPerSecond. Today we're comparing Lomography 800 and Portra 800 in 120, and we're doing a little secret photo shoot in an exhibition that's going in Goma at the moment, and so that's where I am at the Gallery of One Art in Brisbane, which is why I'm also doing this on my phone and trying to be quiet because we're doing this in secret. Not that it's illegal, but I'm just trying to keep things on the down low. So yeah, we're gonna be sneaky and do a little photo shoot with the model. She's not here yet. We just don't have a lot of time, so I'm just recording this intro in advance. And so hope you enjoy. So I've shot with Lomography 800 and Portra 800 many times before, and I like both films very, very much. But here's the thing, Lomography 800 is a lot cheaper. It's half the price, maybe even more than half the price now that Kodak's gone up 25-30%. Got nice colors, nice contrast, nice saturation. And for 800 speed film, it has pretty good grain and it's no slouch. But Portra, of course, is one of my favorite films at the moment as well. And it's just great with skin tones, has a nice pastel palette that gives you a lot to play with if you do edit in post. As you can see here, the Lomo is a bit more saturated and punchy with the colors, while the Portra is more pastel. I do find the way it handles skin just a lot more pleasing and smoother, and it just has an overall softer look, while the Lomo is a bit more punchier and almost looks a bit sharper in a way, but it just doesn't look as pleasant or as smooth. There's just something about the Portrait that just feels more inviting. So this was the water exhibit at Goma, which has several installations and exhibits from several artists. I will put the link below just because they all have names that I can't fully pronounce properly, so I'm not going to try and butcher them now. Now both these rolls are overexposed by a stop. I meted at 400. And one thing that we will get into is just how much more light sensitive Lomography 800 is. And yeah, I think we need to talk about the light sensitivity of Lomography 800. It's just that Portra 800 is better when overexposed. It eats a lot more light than Lomography 800, at least in my opinion, and always looks better when overexposed 1 or 2 stops. While Lomography, you can shoot box speed or 1 stop over, and it still gives you that nice sensitivity to it. While Portra 800, while I like the grain and the skin tones better, it's not the best for nighttime photography. The Lomography 800 just seems to be more light sensitive, and if you are trying to shoot in darker places, it just seems like the better thing to use for that. And also is quite a bit cooler in color, while Portra does have more of that yellow to it. And depending on what you're looking for, that will depend on which you prefer. With this particular lighting, I do like the Lomo a bit more, but I did like the shot on the Portra better, just composition wise and whatnot. And here we are at the indoor riverbed, which is kind of cool. I just thought it kind of looked weird and alienating with all this like white space in the background with this riverbed. And one thing I'm sure you've noticed with the Lomo is that there was a bit of light leaking, and I think that is just because it rolls quite thick, which leaves it more open to light. And this is my first time this has happened with Lomography 800. This is Portra, which just looks really nice and you can edit it quite well. But yeah, as you can see, there's more contrast in the Lomo, while it's more soft and flatter in the Portra, while the skin just looks a bit more pleasant. Both stocks are great, but even here, there's just something a bit more pleasing to the Portra 800, and you're just able to get a lot out of it. And the skin just looks great, color-wise, and just like the surface of it just looks better in my opinion. But if you're wanting color and contrast, the Lomo definitely gets you there a lot faster. It does seem to be something that I would edit just a little bit less in some circumstances. Both are pretty great. Here, maybe the Portra looks a bit duller, and I'm sure you'll be shocked to believe, but I don't add saturation when I'm editing my images. I just play around with exposure and color balance, and even just doing that kind of makes a photo more vibrant. But if I was wanting to up the saturation and vibrance, I could do that with the Portra and still get that similar punch that the Lomo seems to be able to get. Even if you're looking here, yeah, there's just something a bit more pleasant color-wise with the Lomo, but there's something more pleasant about the feel of the Portra. And I know these aren't really technical terms, but it's something that's a bit hard to explain, and it's very according to your taste and according to what you want. The grain's pretty close between the two of them, but there's something about the grain of the Portra that I just like a bit better, but you're still able to get great stuff out of the Lomo, and for something that's half the price. Now this is zoomed in 5 times as much as how it is in the full shot. Even though they're both kind of different shots, like one's a lot closer than the other, the grain of the Portra just is a bit better, and just the quality of it, even though these were scanned at the same quality, the quality of the Portra just looks a bit better. And it's really when you zoom in that you can see that kind of difference. But here you can also see just how much more light sensitive the Lomo is. And then also on the bottom you have that light leak. But yeah, it's very much according to your budget, your tastes. I love both films very, very much. They're definitely like in my top 5, 6 types of films. But yeah, it really is dependent on yourself. Personally, Portra 800 is just one of my favorite films whenever exposed. But if you are wanting something light sensitive, Loma 800 is definitely a lot better. Also just want to thank model Elena, and you can check out her Instagram in the description. She's wonderful, I've worked with her before, and she's always just fun and easy to work with. So that's all the time we have for today. Hope you enjoyed the images. Sorry we couldn't make this video more interactive with the model for you and get much more behind the scenes footage, just because we're playing it low key and trying not to be a distraction or a nuisance. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on Portra and Lomography 800. And yeah, just get out there, like and subscribe, shoot some film.